All right, good evening. Welcome to my kitchen. This is my second video. Actually, it's more like my third or fourth video, but it's my second video in my series of my favorite things. And one of my favorite things, and this will be labeled tomato soup, by the way, but one of my favorite things is getting food faux free, right? Because faux free is faux me, as my friend Susan used to say. And the cat wants to go out. I'll get him in a minute. Hold on, Inky. So I've got all these wonderful tomatoes of different varieties. A couple I picked up at the store really cheap because they're on sale, and a couple came from my friend's garden. And I've got enough tomatoes here to make a really good tomato basil soup. You'll also notice that I've got my pressure canner out, and that can only mean one thing, people. That's right. I'm going to can the hell out of some soup. So some of you may be getting some soup for Christmas. So right now I've got my my pressure canner coming up to a boil to sanitize those bottles. They've already been washed. I'm just sanitizing them again. And then I've got my lids back here and my top that are going to warm up a little bit later. So the first step that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, and my cat's going nuts on the blinds over there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to half these because I like roasted tomato and basil soup. And so I'm going to half some of these, and I'll show you how that prep goes as soon as I'm done. All right, welcome back. You've been gone for a couple minutes. You didn't realize it. So what I've gotten ready here is I've kind of gotten ready my tomatoes, and again, this is about 10 tomatoes, different varieties of tomatoes that I've gotten sliced in half here on my lined cookie sheet oven pan. I've heated the oven up to about 375. Some recipes I guess you can do 375, 400. I'm doing my own recipe, so I've put it up to 375. And all I did is I cut them, washed them, and then I cut them in half, open face up, on the cookie sheet, and I sprinkled some dried basil leaves, some black pepper, sea salt, just tastes better, I don't know why. And that is what I've sprinkled these with, and they're going to go into the oven now at 375 degrees for about 30 to 40 minutes. So I'm going to put those in, and then I'm going to show you in my quart pot what I'm going to do outside of that. So hold on just one second while I put this on for, I'm going to put it on, let's say 35 minutes, and then I'll check it. Like I said, free food is faux me. So here we go. This is the tomatoes going into the oven. And I live in a rented townhome right now, and so I'm going to put all this stuff up. I believe in putting things up as you go. I'm probably going to need, and I'm going to use, in the actual batch, I'm going to use this iodized salt, and maybe just a little bit of pepper. Because I got some fresh basil that I'm going to put in this. So my kitchen is not too fancy, and in fact, it's really dinky. So at any rate, let me get my basil out. Now, I bought this organic basil. If I had my garden this year, I was gone too long this year to grow my herbs and stuff, so I had to buy this basil. And again, what I've done here to start this off is I took 2 small onions and just rough chopped them really quick with a knife, threw them in here. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to saute these onions. We're going to saute the onions. We're going to saute the fresh basil. There's no real need to let me wash this off real quick. There's no real need to kind of tear up your basil. I do, though. I mean, I do. I just tear it up just a little bit. And, you know, the extra water in there is not going to hurt you. So, tearing up this basil, and I just basically make sure there's no rough stalks in there, and just throw that in there. And that's a lot of basil, believe it or not. Okay, so now I've got my basil in there, and again, you do not have to rip it, shred it, do all that stuff to it, because unlike most tomato soup recipes, I am not, and I repeat, I am not going to run all this stuff through a strainer. I have got a ninja, and I'm going to show you how to use it. And I don't even take the seeds out. So, you know, I can hear my old granny or somebody sitting there going, "Oh my God, you've got to take the skins and the seeds off the tomatoes." You don't. And so I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so the tomatoes are in the oven. The timer is set. And it won't start. There we go. Okay, the timer's set. I've got my 2 onions. And again, I'll put the recipe up on here for you. So I've got 2 onions and my fresh basil, or, you know, as fresh as you can get without growing it yourself. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on medium heat. I'm going to put the front on a medium heat. And I'll put it up to medium-high for right now. So then, I'm going to saute my onions for about 10 minutes. So my onions and basil will saute for 10 minutes in some olive oil, and that's about 3 tablespoons of olive oil I just put in there. I don't really measure olive oil because you're sauteing. I need my wooden spoon. And you just kind of stir that around there, and you just let that heat up. And again, there's no real need to chop anything real fine. I'll show you that in just a couple of minutes here. Okay, so that's nice and stirred up. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pre-season. Now, a lot of recipes call for canned tomato. If I've got all these tomatoes, why do I need canned tomatoes? So what I did is I chopped up some more tomatoes. So I got about 10 tomatoes in the oven, roasting. And then I've got, instead of a 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes, I diced them myself. So I've got about 3 cups, maybe if that, maybe 2.5 cups of diced tomatoes. So I'm going to use this salt, and I'm pretty liberal with the salt here, and just a little bit of pepper. Ooh, pepper. There's no need to add any more basil because the basil's already in there. So we've got that. What I will do, though, and we're going to add this, I'm going to stir this up. You don't need dirtying more utensils. Stir this up, get that nice and flavorful, and I'm not going to lie to you, I cheated a little bit. I just went ahead and, whoo, I'm going to tell you, I ate about half the tomatoes I was chopping. And I got kind of sick. I made some salsa the other day. Woo! If you like salt and vinegar chips, if I got a recipe for you for salsa. The only sad part about it is you can't can that particular salsa. It has to be eaten fresh. And I'll tell you all about that. So my cans are coming to a boil over here. And as soon as my cans come to a boil, I'm going to go ahead and turn them down to medium heat. Or my jars, my mason jars. So this has been sauteing. It's not sauteed yet. I'm going to let that kind of saute just a little bit more here. I will get my water ready though. So what I'm going to do is what I normally do is I make some chicken stock. I didn't make chicken stock this year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill up about just under a liter of water, maybe a little bit more, maybe 1.25 liters of water on this, and get that ready. Because once my onions and my basil are sautéed in that beautiful, delicious olive oil, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to add my tomatoes, stir that up, add the water that I just poured, and I'm going to use 2 bouillon cubes. I'm going to, like I said, finish sautéing that. And while I'm sautéing that, okay, I told you faux free is faux me. So last week was a delightful week. Actually, it was the week before last. I was at my friend, the McKinney's, up in Hanover, Pennsylvania, and they have a pear tree and thousands of pears. And so I got 2 of those plastic shopping bags full of pears. Well, I got home and I'm like, pears don't last that long, so what am I going to do with them? Well, I can make pies and stuff like that. I, for the first time, made pear jam. And I don't like just plain pear, so I actually did purchase like 4 plums and slice those up and everything into my pear jam. So, and I have some in the refrigerator. By the way, it's delicious. So, my pear and plum jam delicious. So some of you may be receiving this in your Christmas package this year. Oh my God, so good. And pear and plum. I don't like plain pear, but it's good jam. All right. Now with this tomato soup, I have to pressure can it instead of water can it. Hot water bath can it like I did with my jam, because you want to kill that botuli, the botulism. You don't want to get sick. All right. Adding my tomatoes in now. Whew. Let me stir this again, and then I'll add the water. And once you add the water, you want to bring it to a boil for a couple minutes, because you need that bouillon cube to dissolve. So, I'll go ahead and add my water. Oh, my God. The colors are amazing. This looks delicious. It already looks delicious. Whew, that is. Add my bouillon cubes. Now, I use 2 bouillon cubes. Like I said, you can use plain water, or you can use a quart of chicken broth, a little over a liter of water. And so I'm going to bring that to the boil, and then once it starts boiling, I'm going to let it boil for 2 minutes, and then I'm going to bring it right down to and I'm going to go ahead and get these bad boys out. Now these just look absolutely delicious. I mean, look at that. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And now, what I'm going to do is, I could try to, get that good juice in there, and then set that in my metal sink. Okay, close the oven. Now I can really stir this up, and oh my God, the smell is amazing. Alright, so I've let this cool for about 5 minutes after I put those roasted tomatoes in there, and now I'm going to show you what I do next. Instead of straining and, trying to get seeds out and everything, those seeds have been baked and boiled. They're going to be soft enough, they'll go right through, and it's really not going to make much of a difference in flavor at all. So, I have a Ninja, so it's a dual blade Ninja. I got the blades all sanitized and ready to go. And now this is going to be somewhat hot, so I'm going to go ahead and put them in there real quick. And because this isn't, even though it's a large capacity, it's not going to fit all of it in there. So I'm going to puree a little bit at a time and pour it into this second container here. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do now. Now, I just go ahead, and I'm going to pour this. I'm going to take my blades out real quick, and I'm just going to pour this soup right into this secondary pot here. Oh, doesn't that just look amazing? It does. It looks absolutely delicious. And I start my second. Okay. This is deliciousness, and I can just pour that right in there. Now, and I can just pour my soup, which is delicious looking, by the way, right back in. Alright, welcome back. So this has been heating now. It's been heating. I'm going to turn it down, actually. I can actually turn that off now. But this is the soup, and I've had the can sanitizing and boiling. Now, in order to can tomato soup, or any tomato-based product, you have to add a tablespoon of lemon juice or a half a tablespoon of citric acid to each pint jar. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm going to go ahead and add my tablespoon of lemon juice, and now all I have to do is can. I'm going to go ahead and take this soup, and I'm going to can it up. And And I can it, I can it just to below the surface line of the jar. Then I take my pre-sanitized lid, pop it on the top, center it, hold it down just a little bit. Now these jars and everything are hot. It's not that bad. And then what you do is you turn it on there, and you want it to be hand tight. So I take my thing there and make sure it's just tight enough, and then I go ahead and put this back in the canner. And then I'll show you how to can in just a moment, but I'm going to go ahead and get all of these jars filled first, and I'll see you in just a moment. Alright, welcome back. I have canned all of them. It made 7 pints of delicious tomato soup, and I'm going to go ahead and pressurize the system here to 11 pounds of pressure. So what I have to do is I have to put this lid on really tight. There's a lock in the back here. Okay. Locked. Now I turn up the heat. Now, I will know, and I'm going to turn this vent on. This is the vent pipe. Let me turn it off for just a second. So this is the vent pipe on the pressure thing. I've got to bring that temperature inside to almost a boil, and this gauge will tell me where the pressure is. Additionally, on this type of pressure canner, there's a safety valve on the back. So once I see that pop up, that means there's enough pressure in there to keep that lid locked. So again, we're going to build up the pressure in here to about 11 pounds of pressure. It's going to take about 10 minutes to do that, and I have to babysit it. So as soon as that pressure is built up, I'll let you. Alright, and that was making tomato soup, which was delicious, by the way. There was a bowl left over. I added a little bit of half and half to it, like a teaspoon of half and half to the bowl. Well, let me tell you, you get some croutons and some cheese and your grilled cheese sandwich on a cold night, and that tomato soup is going to be wonderful. Because all you do is you open it, you throw it in a microwave-safe dish, heat it up for 2 minutes, throw your croutons on it, and Bob's your uncle done. Each pint, it's roughly 2 bowls of soup. So that'll be a nice dinner for just me or me and a friend. So 2 bowls of soup. So I'll let you know when that gets up to pressure. Alright, welcome back. So the canner is just about at 11 pounds of pressure. So I get to turn down the heat just a little bit here to try to maintain that 11 pounds of pressure, and I've started my timer for 15 minutes. So alright, welcome back. So the soup has been in the canner now for just about 15 minutes at 11 pounds of pressure. So just in a moment here, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the heat and release the valve. Now it's important, and I'm going to turn this timer off. It's important that you turn the heat off, and we release this valve. I'm going to wear this. And you can hear that steam just woo! And I am going to... Now I can't touch that canner until that reading is at 0 and this little safety latch pops up. So, that is it for right now until I pull those cans out in about, 2 to 3 hours when that pressure is finally released there, and I will see you then. Okay, so I have got my cans out of the canner now. Depressurized the can, and you can see they're still boiling. I don't know if you can see this or not. I'm going to pick this one up really gingerly here. Try to bring it towards the camera. It is still boiling inside the jar. You can see the movement. And, you know, that's going to be, and you can hear this can popping now because they've hit that air. And that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to pop. I have to be very careful taking these out because some of these lids aren't on quite tight enough. But, boy, what a wonderful thing. What a wonderful gift. I would love to get something like this. You know, you get those farmers markets and everything. This is an amazing gift, really. Homemade soup with some croutons and some cheese. And that's it for this episode of my second favorite thing, which is homemade free food. That's number one. Free food, always good, like the pears and the plums. And canning and preserving. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you again. And believe it or not, I'm so happy this video is over because it's still hot in this kitchen. All right, well, I'll talk to you later. If you have any questions, comments, please subscribe to me so that I can continue bringing. And here we are. We've completed our roasted basil and tomato soup. I have gone ahead and I've labeled them. A little bit more fun with labeling if you have a computer, which is what I'm going to do next time because this took forever. But if you have a computer, you can just do a design and put it on your label maker and print it out. What I did is I bought some those name tags, and I made my own labels, and I had to draw it and stuff like that, so don't mind that. But here it is, the roasted and tomato basil soup, all done, and this is ready to be gifted. So great fun. Had a lot of fun pressure canning and a lot of fun making the soup, so hope you enjoyed that, and I hope it causes you to explore. Explore new things and do new things, because that's kind of what life is all about, kind of fun. So enjoy your soup, enjoy your canning, and enjoy free food. Free food. Faux free is faux me. So there you go. There it is, the tomato and basil soup, and you have a good afternoon.